Hello, welcome to African in New York. We welcome Africans and African Americans and all people of African descent in the diaspora to come here and tell out their stories to New Yorkers. And today we have Jane Adam. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jane is the director of Nature Expeditions. It's an organization that promotes tourism, Kenyan tourism. And I would like her to take like a few minutes to start by introducing herself and then to tell us more about our organization.
Thank you. As correctly said, my name is Jane Adam. I am based in Nairobi, Kenya, and I run a tour company. Mm-hmm. I'm a tour operator based that deals with all sorts of safaris. We have a diversity of products, so that is what I sell out to the American markets and other markets globally.
So now you are here, and people are watching, and they want to know what kind of products do you market in the United States?
Kenya has a diversity of products. As I said, we have 59 national parks and game reserves, which is a very broad spectrum. And we don't only have safari and wildlife, we also have the beach, we have the sports, we have the mountaineering, we have the marine. We have actually 9 marine parks. So we have a variety of things for people to do with different, even for birdings, for those people who like birding, we have a lot to offer as a country.
Right, so you said Kenya has about 49 national parks?
59.
59 national parks. Okay, and somebody might be saying, oh, this is very interesting, and your organization helps people to go to these parks, mm-hmm. to watch animals, of course, mm-hmm. and for some people may be wondering, like, okay, so what am I getting if I go to Kenya to watch these animals? What am I going to get in terms of just tourism? What am I going to get? So why should I come and use your company? Why should I go to Kenya?
Okay. You should come to Kenya not only for the wildlife, but also to meet the people, the communities. We have a lot to offer. We have 42 tribes in Kenya. Mm-hmm. So we have different cultures as well. Mm-hmm. So depending on what interest you have, if you want to come on a safari, you can go to at least a minimum of 3 parks. Mm. And you will see different things in the different parks. And we don't have fences on our parks. The wildlife is roaming around freely. It's still in its natural habitation. It's nothing man-made. So everything is as it is. It's nature, as it were. Mm. And another important thing that I must mention at this point is that in northern Kenya we have Lake Turkana, the cradle of mankind. That is the place where mankind started from. It is believed that that is the place that started. So Turkana in northern Kenya is a beautiful place to go and visit and see where mankind came from.
You know, a lot of people love to do safaris because they learn something from the safaris. And now you have a lot of national parks in Kenya, and I believe that you get a lot of tourism. And, you know, a lot of people, they love to see the migration of animals because they believe that that's one thing, they call it one of the wonders of the world. So, I mean, how are you going to help some of the tourists if they want to see, you know, the migration of animals? You know, I know that they have seasons to do that, and this is one of the, you know, one of the attractions that they want to, you know, see while in Kenya. So, I mean, do you organize those safaris?
Absolutely. That is actually one of our main things, main agendas, main safari. The migration, the Great Migration, is actually the eighth wonder. It has been seen as a wonder. Thousands and thousands of wildebeests and other animals migrate through the Serengeti to Masai Mara. That is between July and October every year. I cannot say a specific day that you're going to see the crossing through the river, but they migrate in many, many numbers. And it is a guarantee that if you travel that season, you will get to see many, many wildlife, not just the wildebeest. You'll see nature at its best. And people come from all over the world to witness that movement. So I would encourage anyone who has not seen that to put it as on their bucket list, to come over to Kenya and see the Great Migration, the Great Wildebeest Migration. And between January and March, we also have the birds migrating. So we have two types of migrations. The birds migrate because we have many flamingos, all sorts of birds. Those who are bird lovers, we have the largest known collection of birds in Kenya. And so therefore, that's another attraction during January to March. So the seasons, every season, throughout the whole year, we have something that is available for anyone to come and see.
So are all these parks near Nairobi, or are they far away from the city of Nairobi? Actually,
uniquely, we have Nairobi is the only capital that has a national park. Most capitals don't have something like that. But that's just one. We have national parks spread across Kenya, and each park has its unique advantage of what they have. Like for Amboseli, we have the elephants. It's you get to see loads and loads of elephants in Amboseli. Then we have the Savo Park near Mombasa, where you get to see the other animals, like the man-eater lions. That's where they were. And then we have the parks in the Rift Valley. That is the Lake Nakuru National Park. We have Baringo. We have in the northern Samburu, where there's different kinds of animals, like the reticulated giraffe, and those animals are uniquely for northern Kenya, Samburu. So each park has its own kind of advantage or uniqueness. Nothing is the same. That is why it's good to go to 2 or 3 or 4 parks in one visit. And most of the visitors who come to Kenya come again and again and again, so that they can actually go to other parts of the country.
So your organization, Nature Expedition, you know, helps people to go to Kenya. So somebody who is in New York City might want to know, like, how do they get in touch with you?
I have a website, www.natureexpeditions.com, and so that someone can get in touch through our website. Other than that, we have the email addresses where we can correspond, and we do itineraries based on whoever it is. Nothing is necessarily just depending on the interests of each person. We create an independent individual itinerary for each person or for each group. And it is easy to organize from arrival at the airport to departure. You're taken care of. And everything is pre-arranged so that when you come, you actually know what you're doing way in advance.
All right, so you prepare them before they come to Kenya so they know what they will be doing and how many days they're going to spend there according to their needs, right?
We do that. If someone has only 7 days, then we create an itinerary just for that 7 days. Maybe we'll call it Authentic Kenya. We have set itineraries on our website, so someone can go into our website, look at the different itineraries that we have on offers, and we have specials as well, depending on the season. So everything is on our website, and so is our contacts. Our contacts are also on our website. Everything is pre-arranged. And now, most recently, we have introduced online visas. So that shortens the time of applying for a visa. It's now going to be online. We're going digital. They go to the website for the Kenyan Embassy. They have a section for visas, and then they apply it online. And it takes, I think, 2 or 3 days. I'm not so sure yet. It's a very new thing, but that is the way we're going. Okay,
so everything now, it's digitalized.
It's getting digitalized. You know, in Kenya, we are very technology advanced in terms of mobiles and ICT. As you know, that M-Pesa.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
what originated was a brainchild of a Kenyan, and that's the first in the world. So that was, so we are advanced in that.
Yeah, I mean, I learned about M-Pesa because it's one of those technologies used in Kenya, especially for microfinance, you know, for people who want to, use small amounts of money to transfer from one location to another. And this is also one of the things that a lot of people from this part of the world have been trying to learn, how this system works.
Right.
So it's not only about going to the parks and tourist attraction. Also, there are other things like M-Pesa. Yeah.
And M-Pesa is good because now you pay everything on M-Pesa. Bills, holidays for the domestic markets. They don't have to come to the offices. They just pay through M-Pesa when we do the domestic market. So it's a good thing. And the other thing is that our airport also has, we have built a new, larger, bigger airport. So now it's also very international based. You know, everybody coming into Africa mostly comes, Nairobi is a hub. So again, that's an advantage because people need to stop in Nairobi. They can stop for a couple of days before they move on to where they're going next. Yeah.
So there are some concerns that people have. You know, we've seen what has happened recently in Tunisia, and then we have heard about the attacks. I think the mall attack in Nairobi, where Al-Shabaab had their hands in the attack, and some people are thinking twice about going to Kenya because they think like, oh, maybe it's not safe. And we heard about the speech that the president of Kenya, His Excellency Kenyatta, saying that Kenya is now safe and he wants the tourists to go back to Kenya. So for those who are still doubting, what are you telling them?
Well, as of today, that is why we've come into America with the message that Kenya is safe. Because of those problems being in Tunisia, France, Kenya, and other countries, we all know that it's a global problem. And so we're fighting it on a global level. And in Kenya, actually, it's not anywhere near the touristic sites. It's at the near the border of Somali, so it's very far off the tourist circuit. However, we are working on it. Security is a priority right now. And we're having the President of America coming to visit Kenya in a week or so.
Yeah.
So that is something to show that security is now okay. And towards the end of the year, we're having the Pope visiting, meaning that the security is good. I think, and the travel warnings have been dropped by certain countries like the UK. So we are happy to note that our security has improved drastically, and it should not deter anyone from visiting our country. Yeah.
So Kenya is one of the countries, you know, that tourism is one of the major industries in terms of revenues. And I believe that, you know, the Kenyan government is keen in seeing that the development of tourism, it's a priority, and that, you know, more people should go to Kenya, you know, to increase revenues as well as to see the attractions, tourist attractions. And that's why we have like organizations like yours, you know, to help spread the news like, okay, we are in Kenya and then we have tourist attractions. So we talked about the parks, and then, you know, you have like the mountains, Mount Kenya and other mountains. So do you also organize some safaris, you know, mountain trekking?
Yes, we do have Mount Kenya, which is the second highest mountain in Africa. That is followed, of course, it follows Kilimanjaro, which is in Tanzania. So Mount Kenya, which is more difficult to get to the top than Kilimanjaro. Most people find it more difficult. But we organize that. We organize mountain climbing. And
why do you think it's difficult?
I think it's because of the terrain. I think ours, you know, it's easier. People say that it's easier to climb Kilimanjaro than Mount Kenya. It's more difficult. However, a lot of people have come, and we organize those treks. We have guides that take you up the mountain, and you get acclimatized to Mount Kenya. I have climbed Mount Kenya myself when we was much younger. But
how long did it take?
it took, I think, 5 days. About 5 days, because you need to acclimatize. And you know as well that apart from that mountain climbing, we also have the sports tourism, where, you know, our Kenyan runners are the best in the marathons. So we do have a touristic marathons that happen like in Masai Mara or in the lower downs. And therefore, people can come, those who love running, those who love sports, can come and join those kind of marathons that we have, that also you run with wildlife. Sometimes some of the places you can, because Masai Mara and like lower downs, there is wildlife roaming around. But it's safe, again, because we know how to, the communities know how to live with the animals. So there's no clash.
Yeah, because that's also another concern. You know, when people go to new countries, people don't know how they will, you know, be part of the huge Kenyan families. So they'll be like, okay, so if I go to Kenya, how are people going to treat me? You know, because they always think about the treatment that they're going to receive when they go to overseas countries. So, and I'm told like the Kenyans are very
friendly.
Welcoming, very friendly. So, I mean, could you confirm that? Because people want to know exactly the Kenyan hospitality.
The Kenyan hospitality is rated very high because we as Kenyans love people. We are people. We are able to communicate with people. We love visitors. We treat them well. And you can talk to any Kenyan and they'll talk back to you. And what we also do at nature expeditions, we have packages that do volunteerism, where sometimes we arrange for people to meet communities. Either they can go to a school and meet the children, or get involved and paint the school, or we can also arrange to go to see women who are doing beadwork wherever in northern Kenya, in Masai land. Meet with that kind of, meet the local people at where they are at. We also do visits to villages, where you also get to see how do the Kenyans live. As I said, we have 42 tribes, so there are very many different cultures and communities. So whichever part of Kenya you're at, it's a different community. So it is good to visit them if someone is interested in culture and meeting the people. And they're all very friendly. Nobody's gonna come out with a spear to get out of our place. And the other thing is that when we do safaris, we also do walking safaris, which also helps you to learn about the people, because you're walking with the guides and the community. So you get to know and to meet the people, taste the African food, the different foods for different tribes.
Do you provide these guides?
Yes, those guides are part of our team. We're able to provide the guides. We also do homestays at nature expeditions. We realize that some of the communities, some of the people want to have a feel of a homestay. So we have introduced recently homestay as part of our products. So we can get people living together, not in a hotel, but and not in a home, but not in a community, in a hotel, and not in the village, but somewhere near where they'll feel the hospitality of the Kenyan people. Yeah.
I see. So that actually leads me to ask this question in terms of hotels. And yeah, what's the standard of hotels?
The hotels range from, you know, whichever category you want, but we mostly, for the American market, do 3, 4, 5 star. And we have big brands in Kenya as well, and more are coming. So depending on who the traveler is, if it's a high end or middle, depending on who they are, if they're comfortable with just staying in brands that they know from America, we have the Hiltons, we have the Intercons, we have the Radissons, we have, you know, Best Westerns. We have those brands. We also have our local brands. So once we know who the client is, what their interests are, we are able then to match them with the accommodations that we have.
They may want to know about the local brands?
They may want to know the local brands, and we can recommend, but we do have people who say they only want to stay in a Hilton, or they want to stay in. But I would recommend that they taste our local brands, that they see what Kenya has to offer. And even when we go out to the tented camps, out in the lodges, we have a variety of accommodations as well. We have the high end, and we have middle, and we have the budget. So it depends really on what somebody's looking for.
Well, then in terms of food and cuisine, you know, people say that East Africans, you know, they have a very nice cuisine. And I'm sure that Kenyans have the same cuisine, and, you know, so they will want to know, so do I have to change my way of eating in terms of maybe tasting new foods, or what are you going to give me there?
That's the problem I have when I come here. You know, I have to change my diet. However, in Kenya, we have international cuisine. We have, and in fact, our cuisine is so good because it's organic. Most of our foods are organic. We haven't, you know, we're still growing things out properly in the gardens, and our agriculture is, you know, fast growing, and we do very well. But in the hotels, you will eat fantastic food. In fact, most of the clients that come say they've added weight because the food was so good they couldn't do without trying that and trying that. It is, and it has a good taste. You will have the international cuisine and as well as the African cuisine. So you have a choice of what you want. In all the touristic hotels, you're not likely to miss anything to eat.
And then in terms of the beaches, because some of the people just, want to go there to places, and I heard places like Mombasa, places like Malindi, because they want to be, near the beach, and they want to taste that Kenyan way of living, which is different from Nairobi. Mombasa people have that kind of African, and maybe again that I would say Arabic or Asian influenced culture to that area. So do you have tours for them to go to visit cities like Mombasa and Malindi?
Yes, in fact, our coastal region has a lot of historic and culture. And so it is interesting, even if you go down to Mombasa, you will see other things other than just the beach. And we have the Gedi ruins, we have a lot of traditional setups there for people to go and see. We have even the crocodile farm there. We have other things that could be, the Mombasa is an old town, so it still got a lot of the architectural Arabic setup. And we also have Lamu, Lamu, which is now known like the festival city. It has a lot of old history, culture, and a mix. The kind of people there are different. So it's not just the beach. Again, there is things to see there that are different from old times, and the people are totally different because again, it's a part of Kenya. Different culture, different language, different people. So it's again, that's the diversity that we have with the 42 tribes.
Yeah, the 42 tribes. So, we know something about Kenya, and, Kenya is in East Africa, and then you have the East African community, Tanzania, Uganda, Burundi, and Rwanda are other countries that form this region, the East African region. So are you only operating in Kenya, or do you also go to or cover other countries in the region?
As nature expeditions, we not only do Kenya, we do East Africa and Eastern, Central, and Southern Africa. So we have partners in the other countries. In Rwanda, you'll get to see the gorillas. In Uganda, the same gorillas, as well as it's a very mountainous country. And in Tanzania, you get to see the Ngorongoro crater. And of course, Serengeti is part of the ecosystem with Masai Mara. So we're kind of all joined together. So we work together. You can come on safari and do East Africa, do both Kenya, Tanzania. Those two combinations usually work very well if someone doesn't have too many days. But if you have much longer, then you can then go down to see the gorillas in Rwanda.
And you say that like the best season is between July and September?
July to end of October.
Why is that the best season?
That is when you get to see, the weather is good. Although the weather is good throughout the year, we don't have winter as such. We don't have snow. The weather is good, and that is the time that animals are migrating from Tanzania into Masai Mara. So that's a big movement for the animals. However, even the other seasons, they're still resident animals in the national parks. And this migration is only happening in Masai Mara. So the other parks still have their normal animals and their unique animals that are only seen in certain parks. So wildlife throughout the year is there. But if you want to add something that is interesting, something fascinating, come during the migration as well to be able to see that.
I learned that Kenya is one of the countries that banned the hunting in parks. Because we've seen recently that in other countries, people have witnessed the killing of elephants, the killing of, you know, rhinoceros, the killing of other animals as well. And some other countries do give the license to hunt in national parks. And Kenya doesn't do that.
No.
So why do you think they don't do that? Because that could be a source of revenue somehow.
No, we like to conserve our animals. Actually, we have even conservancies. We have the Kenya Wildlife Parks, where Kenya Wildlife Service, which helps maintain the animals and protect the animals. We abhor the poaching. We don't look at it that way. And tourism is a big earner for Kenya. So, and people come to see the wildlife. So we would like to sustain it. We would like to keep and protect our animals. And because they're still in the wild, in their own environment, we do not want them to go. And I know that some of them are, we don't want, you know, there's still just few numbers remaining in with some of the species. So we don't want to have them endangered. No hunting in Kenya. It's banned.
I think that's a good example that Kenya is showing for other countries to follow suit, because we know that we don't want to see the extinction of these animals, because you know, they attract people and is a source of revenue, and you know, we don't want to see the extinction of these animals. And one of the things that Americans love to do, they like to rent a car and drive and travel around the countries. I mean, they do it here. People rent a car and they travel to go to Washington, D.C., Pennsylvania, wherever they go. So they may be wondering, okay, am I going to rent a car when I arrive in Kenya? So do you have those services?
We do, but I wouldn't recommend that for a tourist. I think it would be wise. I don't know whether the GPS, how it's not as advanced as it is here, you know, the markings of the roads, because we're still a country where in the parks or in the wildlife areas would like things are at, the roads are not at, you might get lost in the park because some of the parks are very large. So it would be wise to have a guide at all times so that you don't get lost. And to be able to even know where to go and look for those animals. So that's why our guides are professional. At nature expeditions, our driver guides are bilingual, and they speak either Spanish or French or German, and they all speak good English. And so they have the knowledge of each and every park and the animals. You can they can sit with you looking at an elephant and gives you a long story about the elephant that you don't even know about. So if someone comes and just takes a car and just drives around, they'll not get the same, it will not be the same because they will not get the value of the tour.
So, I mean, do you get a lot of Americans visiting Kenya every year?
Yes, we get a lot of Americans. Americans are interested mostly on safari, not the beach. The majority of Americans come for the safari feel and the culture. So that's, Americans are, I think, are number 3 or so. So, and
myself, I know a lot of people who have been going to East Africa and West Africa just, you know, to experience the summer there. And I think that a lot of people need to know more about all these attractions that these countries have. And that's why I welcomed you to the studio so that you will tell them about what you feel about tourism in Kenya, because what happens in the US, people love to listen and to be convinced. You know, they will never travel if they are not convinced, you know. So, I just want you to say something to convince the American tourists, to convince them, like, why should they go to Kenya and why should they support the Kenyan tourism, whether it's by going there or whether it's by investing there or whether it's by, you know, being part and parcel of the process of, you know, making the Kenyan tourism one of the greatest in East Africa. So just, you know, convince them.
Well, I want to invite everyone to come to Kenya. It is a land where there is a lot of diversity. It's the cradle of mankind.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the heart of Africa. The equator cuts across Kenya, so you can be playing golf on one side of the equator and teeing off on another side. So it is a place that the weather is good throughout the year. The people are so hospitable. We are, by nature, we are very likable people. We love people. We love visitors. Mm-hmm. So that is why I said that the touristic sectors are not hurt by tourism, but by security, because we protect our visitors. We want them. We want them to visit. And tourism employs a lot of Kenyans. So your coming to Kenya will feed so many families, because tourism is number 2 in Kenya, and one of the earners in Kenya. Mm-hmm. So we love to look after our tourism sector very carefully, because it employs so many people. Mm-hmm. You will come and see so much things that you think that are not there. God was very good to us as a country, because we have such beautiful natural things that are in Africa. Mm-hmm. And it's also a very good opportunity for Americans now to come and invest in Kenya. Mm-hmm. We're being called the Silicon Savannah right now. So it is an opportunity to come and see Kenya. And the Kenyans who came to America a long time ago, if they come back home, they will see the changes, and it would be good for them even to come and visit and bring people with them. Help us to spread the word that Kenya is a destination that should be in everybody's bucket list.
We want to thank Jane for coming and talk to us about Kenya and tourism. We learned about Kenyan tourism and other interesting things about Kenya. And I believe myself, listening to Jane, I was thinking about, so my next destination is going to be Kenya.
It has been a big pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. So thank you very much. And this is African in New York. Bye-bye.